I'm Jacy from Craft Life, and I'm here today to teach you how to make a large rainbow loom purse. This purse takes 2 looms to make, and I've had so many requests to make this tutorial. In this video, I will be showing you how to make the bottom more round, like I did in my EOS case. And if you have seen my small rainbow loom purse tutorial, I add a flap, which I will not be doing in this video. And if you want a flap, please check out this video. And also the bottom in this one is more square. So the supplies you'll need to make this are 1 or 2 rainbow looms, depending on which size you want to make, a rainbow loom hook or a crochet hook, and rubber bands. Today I'm using pink, blue, and white. Also, you will need 2 key rings if you want to end or attach your strap this way. So please get your supplies and we can begin. To start, you're going to take your looms apart like I did, like this. And remember, you can always use 1 loom. I just had so many questions on how to make the big purse with 2 looms, so that's why I'm doing this video. And you may say that the purse I'm making today is no different than the purse I made in my other tutorial, but it is because it has a small difference. The bottom is more rounded, and on this one it's more rectangle and pointed. Same thing with my EOS case. It's more rounded for the bottom. So to start, please take your looms apart. And remember, you can use 1 loom. So you're going to take your first row. You're going to point it toward the right. Put 2 of them next to each other. So they're going to point to the right. Then you're going to take a big blue piece and then connect them in the middle. And there should be an equal amount of space from these 2 pegs and these 2 pegs. Now we're going to do the same thing for the other side. Grab 2 more rows, but this time we're going to turn them around to point in the other direction, which is pointing to the left. And we're going to connect them the same way. And there should be an equal amount of space between these 2 pegs and these 2 pegs. Now we're going to take 2 small pieces. One goes on this end, and one goes on this end. Then the other goes on these 2 ends. Now push this all together, because we don't want it falling apart when we're making it. So, to begin, we're going to take our rubber bands, and since we're going for a more round look, we're going to twist them around our finger. So twist it around your finger, and you're going to lay it down on your first 2 pegs in an X. And mine just fell off, so I'm going to do that again. You're going to wrap it around your finger. And yes, it may be hard to stretch from here to here, but you can do it. And before you lay them, you might want to stretch them out, then twist them around your finger, and then lay them down. And I find that works much easier. And you're going to keep going down. And push them down. And if you don't want a round look, please check out my other video on how to do it for a more rectangle look. And I just wanted to make sure that you know that on the end, I twisted my rubber band around, and it's only going to be on this end and on this end. And the rest of them, I'm just going to lay plain in an X. So I'm just going to lay them without twisting them. So it's completely normal if your looms start to come in. It's just the rubber bands pulling them together. And as you can see, the loom's coming in together, and this is a question that I have all the time. And it is so completely normal. Now we're back at our other end, and we're going to have to twist it again. So we're going to stretch out a rubber band, twist it around your finger, and then you're going to make an X on these two pegs. And then do the same for these two pegs. So stretch it out, twist it around your finger, and make an X from these two pegs. Now push them down. And I forgot to mention, if you're doing it on one loom, you'd stop at this end and make your double X here. But since I'm doing two looms, I did it at both ends. So make sure they're all pushed down. And now we're going to do an X from peg to peg all the way down. And on each end, we're going to double X it. So you're going to take your rubber band, stretch it out again, twist it on your finger, and then you're going to lay an X from here to here. And the rest of them are going to be normal X's until I get all the way back down to here. So lay it normal for the rest of them. And you're going to push them down as you go. Now we're back at our other end, and we're going to do the same thing that we did to our other end. So we're going to take it, our rubber band, stretch it out, twist it on your finger, and then you're going to make an X on these two pegs. And remember, if you're only using one loom, you do an X on these two pegs, on the other side of your loom. So now that we have our X's done, we're going to start laying rubber bands all the way around our loom. So we're going to start on these two pegs. You're going to lay a rubber band normally. And this is going to take a very long time for you to get all the way down. And you're not going to push them down as you go this time, because this becomes your top row. And the other rubber bands that you push down are going to be your bottom row. So you're going to go all the way around your loom, laying rubber bands, and don't push them down. Now, you should make sure that your top row is not pushed down. And you can see that we have a bottom row and a top row. And we're going to bring our bottom loops over the top loops. So we're going to start on this side this time. You're going to take your bottom three over the top. And actually that was 2 rubber bands, but it looks like 3 because we wrapped them. Well, it actually looks like 4 because we wrapped them twice. And then you're going to do these 3, bring them over the top, 3, 3, and keep going. Remember, you're only bringing your X's over the top because your X's are your bottom row, and we're just going to bring your bottom loops or your bottom row over the top. Then go down and push them all down. And now this row becomes your bottom row. Now we're going to go down the other side too. Now go back to the side that you started on, and we're going to lay another row. So make sure that all your loops are pushed down because this row becomes your bottom row, and now we're going to lay a top row. So you're going to go all the way around your loom again, laying your rubber bands normally. And remember to do not push them down. Now you're going to start where you stopped and make sure that you have kept your bottom loop separated from your top loops, and we're going to bring our bottom loops over the top. Each peg should have 2 rubber bands to bring over the top. And push them down as you go. We have just done 2 rows together, and depending on how long you want to make it, for me, I'm going to be using 50 rows. You're going to need to do the rest of the rows by laying your rubber bands in a counterclockwise rotation, then bringing your bottom loops over the top in a clockwise rotation, and push them down as you go. So I'm going to do mine for 48 more rows so that I have 50 rows in total, but you can do yours for as long as you want. And for my pattern, I'm going to switch after 5 rows. Switch color after 5 rows, sorry. So after I do black for 5 rows, I'm going to switch. But that's the design on this one, and I'm going to repeat that design with different colors on this one. So I'll be right back. I just finished my 48 more rows, and now I have 50 rows in total. This took me over 4 hours to do, so yes, it did take a very long time, and now I'm ready to end it. So you're going to start by turning your loom around. You're going to go to this peg, take that bottom loop, and bring it to the peg next to it. And I know that was my bottom loop because it hooked the loop behind it. Now I'm going to do the same thing for this peg. I'm going to grab my bottom loop over the top and onto the peg in front of it. And that was my bottom loop because it hooked the loops behind it. You're going to keep checking as you go. So bring your bottom loop. That was my bottom loop. It hooked the 2 loops behind it. It hooked the 2 loops behind it, and continue. Here's an example of when you don't have your bottom loop. This is what it will look like. All you have to do is put it back on your peg and grab the other loop. And then it should look like the rest of them. Okay, so I just wanted to show you here. On this one, I don't have a bottom loop. I just know from the looks of it that if I grab this bottom loop to this peg, it's not going to work. So the loop that's coming from this peg is on the top, and I want to put it on the bottom before I bring this one to this one. So I'm going to lift the top loop, and this is only if you have this problem. Then you're going to bring the bottom loop to the bottom, and bring the top loop to the top. And now the loop that's coming from this peg is on the bottom, and I can hook it normally. So I'm going to continue all the way around. And as you can see, that was my bottom loop, and it brought all the loops, and it hooked all the loops behind it. I'm just going to continue. Now on your last peg, you're going to stick your hook in through those 2 loops, grab 2 rubber bands, pull them through, place it back on, and then pull 2 loops through the other 2 loops. Pull this tight, and then you can start helping your loops off. And as you can see, my loom is about to explode, so I'm going to take this off carefully. And if you don't want your pieces flying all over the place, you might want to hold them down as you take your loops off. Now you can pull it through your loom. And once it's off, we're going to attach a strap, and I'll be right back. Before we attach a strap to the purse, I wanted to show you the difference between these 2 purses. So in the purse I made in my other video, it's more square, and in the one I made today, it's more round. So for your strap that you're going to attach, you can do any design you want. For mine, I'm doing a triple single, which means I'm doing a single chain, but I'm using 3 rubber bands each time. You can do this design if you want, or you can do your own. Now we're ready to attach our strap to our purse. For your strap, you can choose to tie it onto your purse or attach key rings to the ends of them. And I'm going to put it on with key rings, and I'm going to show you how to do it. But if you attach it by tying it, I found that the rubber bands break, so I began to attach key rings to the end of them because the rubber bands don't break. But you can choose to do it either way. And if you want to know how to tie it, you can also check out my other video for how to make a purse. I attached a key ring, so I'm going to open it up and use your rainbow loom hook and stick it in. Now, depending on how many you want to grab, I'm going to do 5, and since I did the pattern of 5 for each color, I'm just going to grab the blue at the top. I'm going to stick my finger in after 5 rows, but you can grab as many as you want. Then I'm going to take this, make sure it's still open, and you're going to slide on the rubber bands. And if you're grabbing as many as I am, it's okay if you miss a few. Now, you're just going to start twisting it. Don't twist it too much or else it will come off. Now you have the one side attached. And now we have to do the other side. So I'm going to do the same thing, find this side, which is about here. And on this end, I have to open it, of course. So I'm going to stick my fingernail in. Then stick your hook in. And now we're going to do the same thing again and slide them on. You can take your rainbow loom hook off and twist it. Now they're attached on both sides, but remember, if you want, you can always tie it on, but the rubber bands may break, and you're done. This is what it looks like when it's done. And here are some of the other designs that you can make. These two purses can be used as a purse or a phone sleeve, and they were both made with one loom. This purse I hooked all the way around except for 5 pegs, which I made into a mini flap for keeping things from falling out. And if you want to make a whole flap, please check out my other tutorial. So those are some of the designs that you can make, and I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. And if you make some, I'd love to see them. My Instagram is CraftLifeUSA, so please tag me in a photo. And don't forget to like us on Facebook, put it on Pinterest, and subscribe right here on YouTube. I hope you're living a craft life just like me. Thanks for watching. Bye!